My name is Comrade Andrew Enantomhen. I'm a member of Nigeria Civil Society Organization, although I have a political affiliation with the People's Democratic Party.
Hello and welcome to Obehi Podcast. I'm your host, Obehi Ewanfo, and I strongly believe that everyone has a story to share. Now let's get started into this episode.
I'm a social critic, a Pan-Africanist crusader, a public affairs analyst, and I speak truth to power as the need arises.
Thank you so much, dear Andrew. All right, now let's do the first thing first. How is the situation of Nigerian politics today? I mean, your observation, as an analyst, as a political activist, we tend to see what is happening through your eyes in most of the cases. So help us understand. Give us a kind of update of what is happening in the politics.
Thank you very much. First of all, we must appreciate the likes of you that helped to echo our voices, from this part of the world to ensure the international community gets to hear more of the things we do, through your podcast and some other international media outfit that have always given us platform. Time with that number, we really receive a series of interviews from the international communities, from international media houses, and that have really encouraged us to keep doing more, to keep fighting. Considering that makes us to know that yes, people are out there looking at us and seeing what we're doing from our low end. The truth remains the political space is getting tensed up, it's getting encouraging, it's getting interesting because there is third force right now. That's the likes of Obehi, which is being taken from which the wave of the youth, the young generation, the Gen Z is taking up. And of course, there was before now the two major political houses, which is the All Progressive Congress and the People's Democratic Party. Those are the two major political warriors, that be contending for the corridors of power. But of recent, a third wave spring up, which is the Obehi, the obedience group that came from the Labour Party angle, that have been pulling weight of recent, from the Gen Z angle. But all the same, we thank God that the atmosphere will be peaceful and calm. But it only saddens our hearts from the civil society angle that still yet we are still being hypocritical about the things happening. That even at this stage, the people of Progressive Congress that are ruling us at the corridors of power, you could still have people who come out to canvass for them, who could come out to campaign for them. So it begins to sadden our heart that even at this situation, at this dead and odd hour that Nigerians are facing, people are still having the confidence to campaign for the All Progressive Congress. Personally, I don't know what they are campaigning for. Personally, I don't know what manifesto they want to sell to Nigerians, whether it's the manifesto of continuous kidnapping, is it the manifesto of continuous killing, is it the manifesto of continuous starvation, is it the manifesto of continuous intimidation, is it the manifesto of the victimization, is it the manifesto of oppression, is it the manifesto of hunger, deprivation of the currencies and of your human rights, and a whole lot of others. But it saddens my heart that, what I keep on saying over and over again, that these guys at the corridors of power, they've succeeded in creating a divide and rule among the masses, thereby causing hunger and starvation among the people. So when they throw little crumbs on them, they don't have choice than to support them because someone who've not seen 1% for the past 1, 2, 3 months, by the time you give person he will just sow his human rights to you. He doesn't care what comes at the end of the result that comes out at the end of the day. So that's the situation right now. But quite unfortunately, the election we believe is going to be free, fair, credible by 2023. But I am of the opinion that the international community is still going to put an eye on this country because the people at the corridors of power right now, which is the All Progressive Congress, they don't have feeling, they don't have care, they don't even care about human rights. They don't believe in rule of law, they don't believe in democracy, they don't believe in freedom of expression, they don't believe in free, fair, and credible elections. All they believe in is how to grab power by all means at all costs, and whichever way it takes them to do it. That is their principle of operation. So this is the more reason why we call on the international community and the likes of your own platform and so many other platforms that they should help us to put eye on our country. Because this country needs to be liberated. As I speak to you right now, we are in chaos, we are in bondage. The guys that were kidnapped in the Kaduna train of recent, the video is circulating around internet right now. And most of us are weeping because we feel helpless. But we, the civil society members in this country, we are speaking with the little voice we can, from the little angle we can, because only few of us that have not stayed our hands that keep speaking truth to power. That's why you see, the discerning voices are not so much, but we'll still keep speaking truth to power. So as it stands right now, the political space is getting prepared for 2023. But because the All Progressive Congress members, they know they really have nothing to offer, they just believe that they can use the instrument of government to still find their way back to corridors of power after 2023. But one thing I am confident of is that this election is going to be between the masses and the few elites. But you all know, you definitely know that the masses are much more than the elites. So irrespective of whatever it takes us to keep speaking truth to power, to keep shouting at the top of our voice to ensure that it is free, fair, credible, and transparent election, we're definitely going to do that. But come 2023, we're going to hold election in this country, and the right people will be voted into the corridor of power to take over the space of governance. Like what we keep telling people, irrespective of your political affiliation, just vote the right person. Vote the person of your conscience. Vote the person of a choice. Don't be swayed by monetary election. Irrespective of the vote buy, the policies have been monetized. We try as much as possible to sensitize the people, to sensitize the masses. And look, if you collect 10,000 or 20,000 or 5,000 naira, that will not last you for 4 years, considering the fact that there is a high level of inflation right now in the country. So what will 10,000 naira do for you? So why not take your time and look at somebody who have a workable manifesto, somebody who have principle of operations that could actually mean well for your country, and vote for that person that will transform this country. That's what we keep on saying. Look at the manifesto of other people that want to govern you. What do they have to offer? Do they have your interests at heart, or what they think about is me, myself, and I? Those are the things to keep on telling the electorate. Vote the people. Because I know for sure that the vote is going to count. We were in Oshun of recent. Of course, Oshun vote counted, where we see somebody uprooted, somebody, Ademola Adeleke, the People's Democratic Party, was able to win an incumbent governor of the APC. That comes to show that gives you an idea that the people are fed up of the All Progressive Congress. The people have given up on the APC and they just want alternative solution. So what happened in Osun State is a pointer to the fact that 2023 is going to be interesting. That money will fade. Of course, I know that the All Progressive Congress, they use the instrument of government money, they open the government vows to ensure that they won the election of Osun State. But at the same time, the people spoke with their permanent voters card, thereby saying that this is what we want. Money is going to fail. And one thing that we keep on praying, we from the civil society organization, is that we want money to fail this time around in 2023. We don't want politics of money. We want politics to be demonetized so that we can actually get the best person to mount the corridors of power. This is our prayer. And we are really working towards that with various political parties to ensure that we demonetize the politics, to ensure that the various political parties bring in their best candidate that have the best and have the right thoughts for the country. So that's how far we've gone for now, so far.
Thank you so much for that. That is very important. Last week, I interviewed the president of Nigerian National Orientation Agency, Edo State, and I've also interviewed some journalists there to understand what is going on within Nigeria. Of course, they say concern is the same for everybody, because even for most of us that are abroad, if Nigeria is not safe, it's not safe for us, it's not safe for those that are at home. So the best interest of Nigeria is a progressive Nigeria, because many of us that are here, it's not like we are really enjoying here. Sometimes, okay, you know what happened? So many people are frustrated, both at home and abroad. So the only solution that we have is that Nigeria is better. When it is better, then it's better for everybody. It is important that whether the people actually understand their role in this power play, because those we elect into office become power after they have inherited the power from us. We are the one that are giving them power. I mean, the electorates are the one giving power to those they are electing. Otherwise, they don't have any power. So the question now is, are they understanding that is actually what is happening? Because if they understand that, I think it will be difficult for them to be bought. Let me understand that.
Fantastic. You see, this is where we call for the role of National Orientation Agency, the Nigeria Bar Association, and even we from the civil society organizations angle. The need for us to enlighten the electorate. The need for them to understand that the office of the citizen is the highest office in the land. They need to understand the power of the permanent voters card. You see what our airline tries to do? They try to ensure that they remove the level of orientation that the people need to know. They try to ensure that they are not aware of their rights. And this is where our role comes in, to keep enlightening the people that you need to vote people, that you have the power to determine who governs you. You are selling your human rights, your leviathan, you're giving you're entrusting your rights to some certain kind of people, so the few allies to govern you. So you can't just do that ignorantly. On handing over your rights to somebody to control, you must be able to hand over your right to somebody who values your authority, who values your principle. The people don't too much know their rights. And I have a lot of friends from the northern region, and I am so happy with the way their orientation is beginning to change. You see, most of these northern allies, they will say, don't worry, our northern brothers or the northerners are not enlightened. We know how to, you don't need to, we know how to use them to win election. But you will see some northern young people, they will tell you that if this is what our leaders in the north think they have been doing over the years, with the 21st century, they are not going to find their way. Gone are those days where you brainwash people. You will see the young people from the north right now, they are so exposed, they are so intelligent that even the northern leaders are afraid now to use them, because they know that those guys have woken up. Gone are those days where you use people to win elections to get security power and you abandon them. Everybody is moving at almost an equal pace right now. So the people have woken up. If you look at the level of collection of permanent voters card, if you look at the level of awareness of registration of permanent voters card, it increases even in this dispensation, unlike prior to this era. People understood the need for them to get this voters card to vote their choices that will govern them. Because they know that you can only rig election in a place where you are not popular. You can only rig election in an environment where the people refuse to come out to vote. If you look at what happened in Edo State, when we conducted the election in Edo State, the vote was so massive. The election, the turnout, the voter party, the turnout was so massive in such a way that it was so difficult for the people at the corridors of power in the presidency to ring it. Because if people come out to vote, if you have 100 people accredited to vote, and 90 voted for a particular candidate, 10 voted for the person at the corridor of power, tell me how you're going to ring that election.
It's going to be difficult.
It's going to be difficult because you can only ring an election where the people they refuse to come out to vote. And you can only ring an election where there is no massive election voting orientation. So what we keep on telling people, and we are happy right now, if you look at their level of awareness of go out and get your PVC across religious line, across party line, is becoming so massive, becoming so interesting that people know that this is a do or die affair. Even considering the fact that the people at the corridors of power have spiked on the faces of the citizens.
That is very interesting for us now to learn. How did the people get that awareness? Is it because somebody have decided to educate them about it? Is it because the mass media have done an interesting work? Is it because people are frustrated of the system, they want to change? Help me understand how that have come to play.
The mass media have not really done much. Even the National Registration Agency that we expect to do more, they are sleeping. Most of the agencies that are expected to enlighten the people, they are not really doing much. Even the INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission, they are even being compromised. If you look at some complaints that we get from different quarters, people that send letters, I have a lot of letters, complaints that people have sent to my office. Most people actually complain that even INEC disenfranchised them. They don't even have access. They don't even be able to collect this voters card. It's not really because of that. It's just because the people are fed up. Do you know what? When you push a blind man to the wall, the blind man will revolt back because there is no room for him to pass. He will be forced to push back. When you put sand in a blind man's food, the blind man will ask questions. That's the situation we are right now. You amputate my legs, you amputate my hand, but you never gave me a wheelchair to move, but you told me to run to my house. That's the situation. So at that situation, I will be forced to react. Because I will tell you that you've amputated my legs, you've amputated my hands, and you ask me to go home. How do you expect me to move? At that situation, I will be a stone in your neck. That is where we are right now. The people are fed up, considering that they know that this government is highly incompetent, that this government is a government that never respects human rights, that this government is a government that all they care about is human rights abuses. They have nothing to offer. So the people right now have given up on the government, and they know that the only solution we have right now is we need to get our voters to just vote these people out of the corridors of power.
All right, who are they coming in? Do we have anyone credible, reliable work? Because we believe that those that are in the position of authority should be at the servants to the people. If you're not ready to serve the people, then don't come. It is not a place where you can do your big marism. It's a place to serve the Nigerian people. The real employer in Nigeria are the Nigerian people. The workers are the politicians. If you're not ready to work, don't come. So do we see people that are ready to work to serve the people?
Of course, there are a lot of other servant leaders from other political parties aside your Progressive Congress, because right now, they don't have anything to campaign with anymore. We have people from the People's Democratic Party, we have people from Labour Party, we have people from other political parties. But I know for sure that the person that will, the next people that will be coming to the corridors of power, of course, is going to be the People's Democratic Party, because people have tested them proud to now. And I know with the way APC have messed up, the PDP have a better chances to take over governance from them, because PDP have proven over time that they are far better than APC. So I am very confident that with the manifesto that the PDP is selling, PDP have a better chances to winning this next presidential election. Because people that have tested both the APC and PDP, they felt, oh, PDP is better. Look at the two devils. I'd rather take the much more better one. Of course, the third force, which is the Labour Party, the Peter Obi that is trying to spring up. You understand the way the Nigerian scenario is. You might be over there in Europe, but the Nigeria kind of political space, Peter Obi cannot win the presidency as of right now. I feel he still needs to calm down, work with the People's Democratic Party, which is the major opposition that have a larger spread, a stronger structure, and a better chances to win the election. After which, when it's properly groomed, fine, well and good. It's from the eastern region that needed a fair equity of the political space. It can easily be handed over to him. But as it stands right now, I think the contender is just between APC and the PDP. Although APC is out of the equation because they failed totally. They are out of the equation. So they are not in the line of contest as we speak right now. Because even their presidential candidate that was being projected, that is being projected by the Progressive Congress, is not the choice of the people. It's not the choice of even the people at the corridors of power. He forced himself on them. The people don't even want him. But the truth remains, just for political lineup, they need to still present somebody. That's the reason why he's there. But even irrespective of that, he's just there to fulfill the righteousness. He might not go anywhere, he might not go far, because he's not even going to win the southwest region he comes from, let alone winning the north or the south or the east. Because the political bigot and he really have nothing to offer.
All right, that's fine. We're going to come to PDP just now. And of course, we know that you are a PDP, you are a PDP member, and you are going to speak the interest of PDP. That I understand. But anyway, I'm even coming for you for that. Now, what do you have against Peter Obi? Why do you think he's not a good candidate? Is it because he's not qualified as a candidate, or because of the party that he's standing for doesn't have the political muscle to be able to get into Aso Rock? Let me understand that.
Fantastic question. I personally don't have anything against Peter Obi. He's my friend, he's my elder brother, it's a colleague in the political industry. You know, I have nothing against him. He was a former governor, he's a very high senior profile personality in the society. You can't take that spirit away from me. And you can't take the fact away that Peter Obi is intelligent, is good, he has a lot to offer. But the truth remains, we are not living in fantasy, we are living in reality. The reality as it stands right now is that the Nigeria situation cannot afford Peter Obi the presidency yet. Of course, he can be a president, but as I stand right now, he needs a prepared ground to take over. And the APC never prepared a ground for him to take over. So he still needs to wait at the background. Allow the PDP, which owns the structure, which is prepared to govern the country, to govern, then possibly transcend power to it. That is the reality. I say we're just deceiving ourselves. Politics is not won on social media. Who is the Labour Party chairman? Who is the Labour Party world leader in Rumokoro in Port Harcourt? Who is the Labour Party unit leader in Borno State? Who is the Labour Party world leader in Sangogama? Who is the Labour Party world leader in Daura Katsina State? These are the questions you need to begin to ask yourself. If I want to win the election in most of those core departments, who will be the person that will help me checkmate my vote? You don't still have them right now. You need to face reality and build only a party that have them win. They will not prepare the ground for him. Of course, he was our vice president. With the situation of Ghana right now, he cannot win president in this country because the APC that don't believe in the rule of law, that don't believe in democracy, that don't believe in freedom, that don't believe in free, fair, credible election. Do you think APC will allow this guy? They will not give him space. PDP, of course, is the only party right now that has the political will, the political muscle, to fight these guys at the corridors of power. After which we prepare the ground, we can say to say, okay, Peter Obi, you now come over and take over a prepared structure. So, but Peter Obi should just wake up and say he wants to be a president of Nigeria. I think he's in haste.
All right, tell me about the people.
Mentoring.
What are the people, the Nigerian people, saying about Peter Obi?
Of course, the social media space is wiped up. The sentiment of social media space is there. You can't take that fact away. But the truth is this: the people that determines who becomes the president of this country, they are not really with him. They are not with him. Of course, it's not easy. Okay, you could say it's among the line of consideration, but it's not among the first it's not among the first two lined up to become the president of this country. That is a fact. Except we just want to deceive ourselves. So I'm still of the opinion that Peter Obi should understand the Nigeria political dynamics. When the time comes, it will be obvious that it's going to be the one. People that are voting for them, how many of them have their PVCs? How many of them go to the world level to vote? How many of them go to the unit level to vote? It's not about speaking English. The major determinants of who governs you are the people at the grassroots. Are those grandma that don't even have an Android phone? Are not those people that speak English or grammar? If I go to my unit to vote, most people I relate to my unit, they don't even speak English. I in unit 3, ward 5. They don't even speak English. I vote in Uromi Primary School.
All right.
People in the Covent Road, Good Luck Street, back of council, most of them in my area, they don't speak English. They are local women. It's because I have a political influence. That's why you see some of them, oh, fine, this guy have international national network, and that relationship, that's more reason why most of us are keen to them. But the truth remains, we place more value on them because their voters card is more neat than most of people that are in the city.
Why is it more neat? I wanted to say something about that.
Because they will keep it in the nylon and fold it inside their bra, and nobody touches it.
They never use it.
They have that local orientation. That is what determines who becomes with me.
You were saying that those who decide what become who rule in Nigeria are not with Peter Obi. I want you to explain that better.
Fine, the people at the corridors of power, fine. Definitely, they will not give him that space. Now, the local women that don't understand what social media is all about, what English is all about, they don't know the name Peter Obi. All they know is PDP, APC. Even APC is not even strong in their mind there because PDP have ruled this country for good 16 years. And PDP is registered in the mindset of an average Nigeria down to the local level. So PDP is still much more registered in their mind. APC is just 7 years old in power. So there are still people that don't even too much know APC. Why people know them? Because they are still ruling. There are a lot of people that don't even know the name APC. PDP is much more registered. And that is just the reality. I've traveled around every nook and crannies of this country. I've traveled around the 36 states of this country, canvassing for election, monitoring election. There's no state I have no monitor election. From Bayelsa down to Maiduguri, down to Yobe, down to Katsina, down to Funtua. I've gone to everywhere to supervise election and to give an election report. I know the reasoning of people. So I can speak from a factual point of view.
All right. From a factual point of view, tell me about APC. What is their stand in this next election? Because of course we are coming to PDP.
Yeah, their stand in this next election is force, violence, intimidation, victimization, oppression, and pull by force. Because they don't really have a manifesto. Of course, there was one of their members that came out of recent Adewale, former local government chairman in Amuwod in Lagos State. He was coming to converse in television of recent that APC is going to make ₦1 equals to $1. They're going to make education free of charge from primary to university. The guy became a mockery stock in the society. People were laughing at him. That you should be ashamed of yourself. That the person of the high-profile personality of this caliber could come out and be vomiting this rubbish for Nigerians. This was the same rubbish that was being vomited, that you guys vomited while Buhari was campaigning. That you told us that you're going to make ₦1 equals to $1. You're going to make fuel free, practically free for everybody. Today, reverse is the case. You've changed your narrative. You're coming back after 7 years to tell us you're going to make ₦1 equals to $1. As I speak to you right now, $1 is almost going to 700 naira, $1 to naira, to the 700 naira. But these guys have no solution to it. Their presidential candidate, Tinubu, made a video, a podcast of recent that he doesn't care if the naira becomes worthless because you don't pay people in naira. You see how these guys think? They're so myopic, they're so dumb in their thinking that you now begin to wonder, how do you expect a caliber of person like this to govern this country? A country where you have a promises holder fighting to govern a PhD holder. These are people who have stains in their record, drug barons. They don't have anything to offer. All they think about is me, myself, and I. How to accumulate power, how to acquire power, how to embezzle money. Corruption is flawed in their corridors. All they know, all they think about is I want to become this by all means at all, in the detriment of the people.
All right. Now, the candidacy of Tinubu is something that a lot of people are not even really able to explain.
He forced himself on the party and forced himself on the people. Tinubu was never a candidacy of anybody because we all knew that Tinubu needs to go and rest. He needs to go and face his head. He needs to go and take care of himself and his family. Emilokon, I am the next. Is this supposed to be so? Is this your father's right? Is the presidency your birthright? Is this your father's business that you're saying you are the next in line? Who are you to say you are the next in line? Are you God over men? Are you to determine who you are? Are you to determine the one that will govern us? It's crazy. You don't force yourself on the people. If the people want you, they will vote for you. The people don't want you. Go home and rest, old man. You are old. You need to rest. You have nothing to offer. You can't use 17th century weapon to fight 21st century war. Tinubu is outdated. We need young people to be at the corridors of power. We need people who have what to offer. We need people who can bring international diplomacy orientation, strong bilateral relationship to the country. Tinubu have got nothing to offer in this country. If Tinubu have got no business in the corridor of power, Tinubu have got no business in trying to be a president of this country. But he's forcing himself on us. We don't want him.
All right. We understand you, Andrew. We understand you. We know where you are talking from now. Let's talk about PDP. I know you are a politician, but I'm talking to you as an analyst now. So tell me, why is PDP the best party come 2023?
Of course, it's not because of the political affiliation. PDP over the period have proven a point that they are far better than any other political party as it stands right now. They are a political party that most of the innovations you see in the country today, telecommunication, is it the improvement in the electric sector, is it the agricultural revolution, is it making Nigeria the business destination of Africa, is it making Nigeria the #1 business hub in Africa, is it making Nigeria a global identity to be reckoned with during their time? There's so many things you can talk about the party. Of course, you can't take away the fact that there are so many things they still need to work on because you get better on a daily basis. But the truth remains, the only alternative to continuous good governance is People's Democratic Party. Now, look at what the narrative going on right now. People are saying that APC should just take us back to where PDP left us. Are you seeing that narrative? PDP left the dollar in less than 200 naira, 185. They left the fuel. Look at today, we can't even buy fuel. There's fuel scarcity everywhere. As well have been on strike for only God knows how long. Nobody's talking about it. We're looking at about 6 trillion naira to solve the fuel subsidy. You guys cannot provide 200 billion naira to take our children back to school. That shows how decayed the society has been. During PDP era, it was never like this. APC don't even value education. You won't blame them, of course, because the president is not educated. The people at the corridors of power, they're not educated, so there's no how you expect them to value education. So that's why they don't care about our children sitting at home for months. This is money that one human being can actually provide to ensure you take these children back to school. They have houses all over abroad, houses all over the whole world, wet floating everywhere, but they cannot place value on our education. They ensure that our education is in comatose. They ensure that our children is in perpetual poverty, so that they can be able to set their own private schools, so that they can be able to flood their children abroad. Scholarship, their children use scholarship abroad. Now, is it not? It doesn't saddens your heart that the Minister of Education, the children are not schooling here in Nigeria? Doesn't it saddens your heart that the Minister of Health receive their medical treatment abroad? Doesn't it saddens your heart that the Minister of Power doesn't use a generator at home? Is it not irony? Is it not crazy? Is that normal? It looks abnormal. The things that are normal in other society becomes abnormal here is crazy. We are becoming a laughing stock in the international community. These things are not rocket science. These things are not magic. These are things that solution could easily be provided for. We are living in the kitchen and we are hungry. It's crazy. It's disheartening. It's sad. It's emotionally draining.
Yeah, you're right, Andrew. You're right. It's sad. It's a sad moment. It's a sad moment in our history. All right. Now, of course, I repeat again, I'm not interviewing you as a politician. Otherwise, I have other questions to ask you, but I'm just talking to you as an analyst, as a civil analyst. So I understand your stand. So when I ask you the following question, not because I really think you are a politician. If you are a politician, of course, I have no questions to ask you. But tell me, what are the manifestos of PDP come 2023?
Of course, PDP have a lot of manifestos. Of course, reviving the economy is definitely one of the manifestos. Building, ensure that the cultural ecosystem are revamped and take its shape, ensuring that we become one of an enviable business destination in Africa. Look at the NNPC today. Last time we talked that presidential candidate talked about, privatizing the NNPC, making a limited company. Most of them were laughing at him. Today, now the NNPC is already a limited company because they don't even have manifesto. They stole from the PDP's manifesto. Handling security, of course, is one of the. Of course, Atiku have been at the corridors of power in terms of it was a custom. He has a very strong security background. It's very easy to track these people that are causing mayhem in the society. CCTV everywhere, everything is going to be digitalized. Of course, we're going to take advantage of the tech industry to ensure that we bring young people. Of course, if you know that PDP have a part with the young people, it's not a party that will be looking for people to make ministers or DGs or board of agencies. They already have these people set out. They're going to hit the ground running. Because if you look at the ecosystem, there are a lot of young people there that PDP is going to harness. Those are things that are in the manifesto. We're going to look at the tech industry, the agricultural tech industry, the technology industry, the entrepreneur industry. People in the entrepreneur industry are going to harness all of them and ensure that you bring them what do they have to offer. And of course, PDP is going to turn this country into a producing nation so that we don't just become an importing nation. We will be producing what we eat. And how can you make that happen? You can only make that happen when you empower the people, when you ensure that the atmosphere is safe and conducive for farmers to go to farm, for people in business to go to do their business safely, to ensure that the market women are able to buy things conveniently and sell. When we become a producer and exporting nation, of course, the dollar will crash, the dollar will have value, naira will have value again. There's so many things we can do. Nigeria has the highest deposit of bitumen in the whole world. We have our gold there. We have our silver, diamond, and so on of others. We're not going to depend on oil alone. We will tap into other natural resources.
Are all these things going to be done in 4-8 years, or is just because there is a roadmap, very clear one to be followed? Because I remember, for example, in 1999, that was when we returned to democracy with Obasanjo becoming the president of the country. I think that that administration, okay, of course, it ran then after the death of Yar'Adua, then Goodluck become the president. No, talking of after Obasanjo now. Those are the period of PDP in the country, right? So at that time, throughout that period that PDP was in power was a problem in Nigeria. Until date, we don't have a solution to the Nigerian power provision. We are not able to provide power for ourselves. Can we really say that Of course, we can, by common sense, we understand that most probably PDP is going to win this election. Okay, that is how politics work also, because Nigeria is predominantly two-party system. Okay, every other one can also join. We understand that. But are we having any realistic plan to resolve some of these primary problems? I'm not talking about Boko Haram. Boko Haram was created artificially. The real problem of Nigeria has been like infrastructure, like good road, job for the people. But let's just take one, for example, light. What is the plan for PDP to resolve it, realistically taking?
Fantastic. You know, when you provide light for people, you've actually solved almost 50 or 60% of the economic problem, because industry could be able to produce, entrepreneurs will be able to work effectively, where the tech guys will be able to operate. You know, there will be reduction in cost of production. So that will eventually have a positive effect in buying and selling. It will eventually have a positive effect in the economy, down to the people at the grassroots level. Now, if you take a look at light has been a major challenge. And I feel ashamed that even in this 21st century, we're still talking about power generation. Of course, you understand that PDP is a party that has the free will to make things work naturally. But I'm of the opinion, I'm very confident that our principal have this determinant strength to ensure that it brings in all the right expatriates into the corridors of power to ensure that the life situation is being resolved, is being solved once and for all, irrespective of what it's going to cost us. Because we know when we solve the life situation, everything will be resolved. That's one thing I know, I'm confident of, that we're going to resolve the life situation. Of course, we already have a road plan, a map out plan before now. You definitely know the way this system works. The president might have a good intention, but if you don't have the right people around you that will make that intention work, of course, the intention will fail. So one thing I know the principal is going to do is to ensure that he's going to put the right people in place to ensure that the manifesto becomes workable. It's a right vision upon tablet that those who read it might run with it. So it's going to be a practical, workable manifesto, not bogus, but a manifesto that will affect the common masses. We're not going to run the politics of elites. We're not going to run a government of elites. We're going to run a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. A government where the people will determine what they want. A government where the people will feel the impact of governance. And what is the thing you can give to them is to ensure that they have good light, have good road transport, their goods from the rural environment down to the urban environment, to ensure that there is effective security, so that by the time they go back to the farm, they can farm effectively and bring their crops from the bush, from the farm, down to the market, and trade effectively, make money, do the trade, trade by barter kind of business. Everything will be harmonized. There are fantastic plans to make sure those things are easily done. If it takes each state to generate their own power, I believe my principal have a workable plan for that, to ensure that every state generates your own power. Let it be competitive. If I generate my power, of course, I'll make money from it. Today, Lagos State have a power generation system. Same thing, other states are going to generate their power. Then every state starts generating their power. You discover that it reduces the pressure from the national. It makes things easily work. And the system will flow naturally. Production will be effective. Industries will come to each state. The urban area will be decongested and the rural area will be encouraged. So there will be urban-rural migration instead of rural-urban migration.
All right,
so there's going to be diversification of the economy, diversification of power, diversification of various sectors down to the rural environment, so that everybody can feel the impact of governance. It's going to be a collective and a holistic work that all of us are going to be involved in, including you in diaspora too. Because we need your effort to make sure this country works.
Absolutely. I said it before, because that is the only country that we have. Andrew, you see, all this that you said, actually, these are what Nigeria needs. And based on our current reality, 2022, the government of Nigeria is able to provide the realistically thinking. They really can do it. But we see now that they come and go and look for a way to blame it on something else, this and that, so they never do it. In fact, it would be the biggest miracle that PDP become the party in Nigeria in 2023, and they resolve the problem of infrastructure like electricity. That would be the biggest miracle for Nigeria, because that is what we really want. We all need it. That is what many people really want in this country. Absolutely. But the question is, are they really going to do this?
They will do it, of course. You and I understand
before you respond to that, Andrew, I want you to know that you are a civil activist. If they don't do it, I'm still going to interview you on this. Okay, please go.
Absolutely. I know come 2023, most of us will be very close to the corridors of power and will be able to determine what happens in the corridors of power. But irrespective of what happens in 2023, one thing I'm very confident of this is that come 2023, the whatever manifesto that the People's Democratic Party have is going to be made a reality. I am very confident of that. And one thing you can't take away from PDP is this. There are parties that have done it before, and I know they can still do it again. Now, you talked about what the people really want. That civil servants are one of the problems we have in this country. Of course, you know that. The civil servants are going to be refined, going to be retuned, because irrespective of how fantastic your ideas are, if you don't have the right people that will help you make that idea work, the idea will be frustrated. So civil service system need to be restructured, need to be refined, need to be fine-tuned. Because if I bring the files, you see, the bureaucratic process is killing so many things in this country.
Well, are they doing it illegally?
Of course, when Nigerian system work, the system have been designed not to work. The system have been designed not to favor the masses. The system have been designed to favor only the few elites. But one confidence I have is this, that irrespective of how corrupt, how decayed the system have been, if you put the right people in the right places, they will ensure that the system is restructured effectively. Take a clear example. It's quite unfortunate that the Minister of Labor is a medical doctor. The Minister of Housing, Power, is a lawyer. Is that normal? What has a lawyer, a son, got to do with works and housing? Why not put the right people in the right place and ensure they bring their best hand? If you go to Egypt today, the people that manage their power sector, they are all engineers down to the security. Go to other developed nations, that is how it's being done. If you want our power system to work, ensure that the minister down to the security, they are people that have electrical, that have power orientation. If you want the works and housing to work, ensure that the people, the building engineer, the civil engineer, they are the people that mount the Ministry of Works and Housing. If you want the finance system to work, ensure that there's the accountant that mount the Ministry of Finance. If you want the legal system to work, ensure that everybody in the Ministry of Justice are all lawyers. If you want the security to work, ensure that down to the Minister of Defense, they are all security experts. You know why we are failing in this country? Because the people that occupy the corridors of power are people that are being remunerated, are people that are being rewarded with political portfolio. Nobody comes to the corridor of power on the basis of competence, qualification, equity, justice, and fairness. And until we switch to that dimension of rewarding people in the corridors of power with competence and quality of what you can offer, we will go nowhere as a people. If you want to give me an appointment on the basis of what I can offer, not on the basis of you feel I have paid my dues, I need to be settled. I don't need that. Don't reward me an appointment for me on the basis of I have been politically loyal. Reward my appointment on the basis of what I can deliver, what I can offer. That is the only way this country can work. So we must put this country first. If Nigeria must work, we must put the country above personal sentiment, above bureaucrat thinking.
All right. Now let's talk about, because you are a member of PDP, I'm going to ask you the question like this. I don't know if you know how they select their candidate. Why is Atiku the best candidate in 2023?
Fantastic. It's because elections, primary, before you produce your presidential candidates, your gubernatorial candidates, your senatorial candidates, your rep, and a whole lot of other, there is what we call a primary process where delegates vote and determine who represent their party. Most times, you have super delegates, most times, ad hoc delegates, and a whole lot of others. He voted under a free, fair, credible, and fair primaries as a primary process. Of course, there were a lot of other people that voted, that contested alongside with him. But because the process was free, a certain number of delegates were accredited. And all of them voted for the person of their choice. And he emerged. So it shows that the delegates prefer him over every other candidate. Because the delegates said he's more qualified to become the president. That's the reason why he emerges. He did not emerge as against the interests of the people, unlike Bola Tinubu of the APC that emerges against the interest of the people. Of course, you will understand that the PDP is not built around one human being, unlike the APC that is built around one national leader. PDP is not owned by anybody. Nobody can lay claim of PDP. Of course, Bola Tinubu will say that I made APC. Everybody will say that APC is built around him and so many others. So he emerges on the basis of free, fair, credible primaries that was adjourned one of the best. And the people elected him, the delegate elected him. And he emerges. And other people, other co-contestants celebrated his emergence because they saw if 1,000 people were accredited, 900 voted, 100 were void, 50 goes to the candidate, 20 goes to the candidate, 30 goes to the candidate, 100 goes to the candidate. At the end of the day, you calculate everything. It ends up at 1,000. So how do you justify that? Free, fair, and credible. So whoever that loses, we willingly support the person that won. Among all the contestants that lost, if you notice, they all queue behind the person that won because they saw that the election was clear. We accredited so number of persons. And so number of persons that were accredited, so number of persons voted. So number of votes were void. If you calculate the number of votes that were void, number of votes that were accredited, and number of people that voted, accumulated together, you will arrive at a certain figure of the people that were accredited. So how do you force that? You don't have choice than to support whoever that emerges because it's obvious that that's who the people want.
All right, that's fair enough. After 1999, when we returned to democracy, with PDP becoming the ruling power, the ruling political party in Nigeria, they came up with a zoning formula, which at the time I said, well, I don't think it's a good idea. In democracy, you shouldn't be doing zoning. You should, the best candidates should come out and represent the country. Also because we're not looking for a tribal leader, we're looking for a national leader.
Absolutely.
But say, even for the purpose of argument, somebody might say the current president is from the north. And right now, PDP is proposing another president for the country, and they have decided, based on their own calculation, based on the internal working of the party, to present another candidate from the north. How would you explain that?
Fantastic. If you look at Praso now, when people talked about the zoning formula and whole lot of other, but we are developing as each day goes by. We are building a political structure that's devoid of tribal sentiment, religious affiliation, and a whole lot of others. PDP is building a political structure that is devoid of boundaries. We don't want to have a political structure that says where is your state of origin. We want to be a political structure that says where is your place of residence. We have one united Nigeria. May God bless the United States of Nigeria. Not may God bless you that is from Delta, Edo, Bayelsa, Bauchi, and a whole lot of other. We don't want to have a country where we are being divided along ethnic and religious lines. We don't want to have that kind of country. We want to have a country where everybody is united, where I can go to the east and sleep, and go to the west and sleep, and go to the north and sleep, without fear. That's the kind of country we want to build. That's the kind of country we want to have. And how do you achieve that? You need to achieve that by showing a contest open, free for all. Of course, somebody will say, why didn't you do that while you were in power in the last 16 years? But you realize that we are developing as each day goes by. We're the 21st century democracy, so you must practice the 21st century principle of governance. And how do you do that? Give everybody a free, fair, and equal hearing, equal opportunity. And that's what they've done. It was thrown open to the southwest, northeast, and a whole of whichever region you can call it. And the best person emerged. We're trying to practice the 21st century democracy where you have the best person emerge. That is what we want to achieve. And that is what I think we've done. Of course, if somebody from the east had won it, it would have been given to him. We'll have galvanized around the person. But somebody from the north won it under an open field. We never zoned it to the north. We show it open. And I think we claim the ticket. because he was more qualified. He was able to convince the people with his manifesto. He was more open. Other people are qualified too, but of course, he won it because the process was open to all.
Thank you for that. Another thing I think is that has become a concern for a lot of Nigeria, particularly the younger Nigerians, is that they want to believe that be the future of the country is not only in dream, it should be a reality. They want to participate in the governing of their country. What do you think PDP is doing to make sure that become a reality? Instead of bringing people like Tinubu to become president, we should bring people of maybe 40 to come in to lead, because we really want the Nigerian president to be running. We don't want to be carried in a wheelchair. Speak to me about that.
That's what APC want to achieve. They want to hand over a sick country to a sick president. But we said that will not happen in our dispensation. This country belongs to every one of us. Andrew Enantomhen is a stakeholder in this project called Nigeria. And the country must work. And whatever it will take me to make this country work, I'm going to put it on the line and ensure that it works. Tinubu have used my father's era. He's using my era. He's going to use my children's era. That will not work. Of course, PDP have signed a pact with the young ones. That's what happened last time Atiku contested. He told that he's going to give 100% of his cabinet to the young people. Look at what the party is doing right now. They make sure they handed over the youth wing to a person who is actually a youth leader, a youth president, a very young lad at 25. It has never happened in the history of this country that we have a young person like that occupying such a position. It goes to show to you that the party have the interest of the youth at heart. Of course, when PDP win, you're going to see that young people are going to want to be the one that will drive this government, because the party that believe in the interest, that believe in young people, they believe in the tech industry. We're going to make things happen. We're going to change the dynamics. Young people are going to occupy various agencies to ensure that they bring the needed transformation into governance, because that is what we first change. The 21st century democracy is being practiced around the whole world, and the young people that drives it. And so we're going to bring those young people on board. The best tech people are from PDP. PDP have made a lot of young people. So they're going to lead them on the field. They're going to bring them into the system. Of course, I have been very close to corridors of power. The likes of me, definitely when PDP win, I'm going to be in the corridors of power. And you know what I can offer as a person.
You are sticking your name on it. That is why people are going to trust you on that. Because if it didn't happen, if what you say is not what happened, we're still going to look you in your face and say, you lied to us.
But of course, you know that I am one human being, irrespective of my affiliation. I've always speak truth to power. Even while PDP was in government, if you look at my previous interview during Jonathan era, I have criticized Jonathan where he was wrong. I criticized Yar'Adua where he was wrong. I criticized Obasanjo where they were wrong. So that's why my voice is so loud right now, because you can hold me to this. So when people get to corridors of power, I will still criticize them when they are wrong. But of course, I know they will do everything possible to ensure that they ameliorate all these abnormalities. The country is in decay, so we must do everything possible to revive it before it finally collapses. We are collapsing as a nation, and we can't watch it finally collapse this way, because our children will hold us responsible. Posterity will judge us, and my kids will ask me, Andrew, Obehi, what did you do while the country was collapsing? What was your contribution? I have all these videos to tell them that I was screaming at the top of my voice, speaking truth to power, that there's a need for them to do this. All these miscreants that are kidnapping up and down. Are you telling me that Nigeria, that was one of the best security countries in Africa, cannot hold those people if there's no political undertone to it? A country that is screaming religion at the top of their voice, do you think they will progress? That is where we are as a nation. Because we deceive people, we brainwash the people, we are running a fake, hypocritical nation that lacks ideology. The country is stagnant. The people are dying, the government is sleeping.
Thank you for your voice and for speaking your truth. Now, like I said before, I'm not like holding you as a politician, or just because we are talking about a PDP, I'm a member of a PDP, I just have to put some of this concern to you, because these are the concern of so many Nigerians also. Now, one last thing there related to the youth always is, what is the plan to sort of, okay, I know you did mention the fact that if PDP win, they are going to reserve a certain important position for the youth.
Absolutely.
What about the preparation of the youth so that they can become qualified to take up those jobs? One thing is to give a role to somebody to play. Another thing is to give a role to a qualified person to play. I'm talking of the plan to qualify Nigerian youth. Yeah.
Yes, of course, a lot of young qualified Nigerian youth, a lot, uncountable. We have so many potentials rotting out there that needed a platform to just explode. Why most of us are becoming so relevant as the day goes by, because we have this little platform to ride on. There are so many young Nigerians that have a lot of potentials, and they're just looking for a platform to bring in the potentials. Creativity, idea, witty inventions are burning on the inside of Nigerians. They just need to unveil, need that platform to unveil them. If I become a director of an agency today, or a board member of an agency today that have affiliation with the youth, do you know I will bring a lot? I have a lot of young people that were from the same school of thought. Of course, I'll bring them aboard. Like, guys, let's make this happen. Let's make this happen in the little field where I am, because I know I'm a president of that agency. So I'll do everything possible to ensure that I become the better agency, become the best. That is the way it works. Of course, you're not the president, you can't influence at the presidential level, but the little area that is being given to you as a young person, you will ensure that you bring out the best in that area, that to project that agency effectively well, so that the government will believe that, yes, if you can give this little area to this young lad and he performs excellently well, let me give him a higher opportunity. That is the way it works. So even as a young person, even as young people, whenever we have that little opportunity, we ensure we make use of it. We ensure we bring out the best of it. Because you don't always have a second chance to make an impression. So I am of the opinion, I am confident that when PDP comes to power, come 2023, the opportunity they are going to give to the young person, the young ones are going to bring in the best young hands of the country to ensure that we make the country work. Because right now, the power is gradually coming towards our generation. So we can't afford the things we'll be complaining about, the things we'll be fighting about. We'll have a privilege and opportunity to ensure that we are ameliorated, to ensure that we correct the wrongs. Of course, there's so many decay in the society, so many decay in different sectors. But the little one we can do, 4 years is so small to make sure to rectify most of these abnormalities, most of these damages that have been caused in the society. But gradually, we can actually rewrite the wrong. We can actually reset the pace again and put the country on the proper contract, so that we can effectively go well in the right direction. By the time we're handing over to a generation that will continue in the right pace. We are not going to be leaving inheritance for the children yet unborn, but we'll do it at our time. When they come, they will continue from where we stop.
That is very important. It's very important. In this country, we all have a stake in it, and we must do our part to make sure that we live it better than we meant it. I was talking to the Edo State president of the National Orientation Agency, and he was telling me how he benefited from scholarship.
Absolutely.
When he was a student, just after Nigerian independence. And of course, looking at that time and this time, Nigeria, that is not even, we can't even compare it at all. It appears that we are living in hell now. So
Absolutely.
it is good that we make Nigeria better so that it can be good for all of us. Because when it is really good, it is good for everybody. It is when it is bad that is good for only a few people and bad for every person.
There are people that benefit from the bad as it's getting worse. People are benefiting from it in detriment of the majority.
Absolutely. All right. So, what would be your message
if you notice, time and time with that number, people will always say that during PDP era, even down to the security, they are eating. But now, it's only one person that will eat it from here. Only one person will eat everything, swallow everything. That's what people will tell you that PDP is still better, because even down to the security era, the security are eating, everybody's eating. My message to the young people is that the young people should do everything possible within their reach to ensure that we are prepared for governance. Because PDP is going to hand over power to the young generation. We must be prepared. The People's Democratic Party have a slot, has concerted affirmative action for the young people, and the young people are going to do everything possible to ensure that they prove a point that, yes, give us this power, give us this authority, give us this mantle, we will do it well. We're going to make a changes. Of course, I'm very confident of that. I'm not going to promise what the party is not going to do. I'm not going to promise what the candidate is not going to do. But one thing I am confident of is that the interest of the masses will be put first. I am very, very confident of that. That the interest of the masses is going to come first before the interest of the elite. That's why you see most of them are rooting for PDP, because they know PDP will put their interest first. It will put their interest first. Most of us will speak truth to power, irrespective of whose us is involved. This country has to work, irrespective of political affiliation. I am in Nigeria before I'm a member of PDP, and before becoming a member of the Nigerian Society organization. I am first a Nigeria. Without Nigeria, there will not be PDP, there will not be APC, there will not be civil society organization. You know that. So this country has to work. It must work. Rain that fall on the good and the bad. The sun that shines on the good and the bad. This poverty, this insecurity, this hunger, this starvation, this victimization and oppression doesn't know religion, doesn't know tribe, doesn't know ethnicity. If Boko Haram want to kidnap you, they will not care whether you're a Muslim or a Christian. If the rain want to fall, rain will not fall on will not care whether you're a Christian or a Muslim. Rain will not fall, will not care whether you're an Hausa or an Igbo man. The rain that fall on the Muslim fall on the Christian. So why not let's put our hands together and make this country work? Why are we being hypocritical? Why are we calling black white when we know that things are not working? The moment these guys are eating from the corridors of power, their mouth becomes sealed. They can't speak truth to power again. They can't even tell the government what to do wrong and what to do right. But it's quite fortunate that I'm happy that posterity is judging most of them. That's why you see them when they leave corridors of power, either one illness or the other before them, because they've never done anything that is good. People curses them day and night. But if you do what is good, people pray for you.
Thank you so
but
much
I know
for that,
the blood of the innocent that have been shared in the hands of these demons at the corridors of power, we keep raining curses on them until this country gets better. If you see the horrible videos of the way Nigerian citizens are being molested by foreign kidnappers in our bush, and nobody's doing anything about it. And we have a president sleeping and lying fallow as if the country is running on autopilot. We're living in the country as if nobody's governing us, nobody's talking about anything. Everybody does what they like and it's free will. If you are poor, you don't have a voice. But if you are rich, you can do anything and go scot-free. Is that what you call a nation? Of course, we must make things work. Of course, we must put sentiment aside and speak truth to power.
Yeah, it must work. That's it.
It has to
All
work.
right. Thank you, Andrew. I really appreciate it. You wanted to add anything to it?
What I just want to ask is, Nigerians should go and get their PVC and vote for, of course, the People's Democratic Party, although a person of a church, but at least I know PDP have the best interest for you. But get a PVC and vote for PDP. They will do well, I'm sure. At least I have been a discerning voice in this country for a very long time, which most Nigeria knows me very well. We talk about Andrew Enantomhen today in the Nigeria community. I have a major voice to say. You can always hold me accountable any day, anytime. That look, Andrew, you told me the country will work when PDP take over power. What is going on right now? Of course, I'll be there to still speak truth to power at all times. So please and please do everything possible to ensure that you vote PDP, because they will help to correct all these abnormalities. They will help to do it. They will help to do it. I can stake my career on the line. I can stake my name. I have a very strong integrity in this country. But I know that when PDP come back to power, things will work out fine. We've seen a lot of wrongs. We've seen a lot of abnormalities. We've seen a lot of mess. And we know it's not going to be easy. Of course, I'm not even envying my party, because the decay is so much. So much. Is it the debt profile? Is it the infrastructural decay? Is it the insecurity? Where are we going to start from? But of course, we're going to start from somewhere.
If you enjoy this podcast, make sure you subscribe so you never miss any of our future episodes. Rate and review Obehi Podcast and share with your friends who might need it. I remain Obehi A14. Thank you so much for listening, and talk to you in the next episode.